Massive traffic gridlock have crippled movement across Lagos Island following heavy rainfall that left several schools, roads and communities flooded. A visit to some areas revealed submerged homes, flooded streets and displaced residents. Arise correspondent Oluwatosin Balogun filed in this report.
Hours after the downpour, this is what the street of Lagos looks like. From Lekki Phase 1 through the Aja corridor on Lagos Island, it is a paralysis as floodwaters overwhelmed several roads and neighborhoods. Arise Crew's visit to neighborhoods in Aja and Igboefon reveals submerged homes with stranded residents whose daily socioeconomic activities have come to a complete halt. Residents lament that the situation has not only disrupted mobility, it has also led to loss of property and forced some families to relocate.
All our quarter here is blocked. There's no way water to go for this area, and we want government to help us. All our houses are full of water. Our properties have wasted. All our family have went out now. Some of our people have gone out now. We don't know where to find them because of this water. Please, we need help.
Some people are packing out from here because water entered inside their rooms, enter inside their parlor, enter everywhere. So nobody is comfortable here. People are just packing out. They can't go to work, they can't sleep. Some people that are sleeping inside, they are sleeping inside water.
The flood is so much, but what's that him? There's a lot of things that causes a drainage, because they have drainage. Because if there's a drainage, the water will flow in. That's one problem. And the road, there's no, all our local government, they don't do anything in all the streets. We request for them and we bring them to them. But the chairman of them, we also talk to them. They don't respond.
This is Fadeyi Street in Igboefon. The situation here reflects the fate of other streets on the axis. The chairman of the Residents Association, whose home is one of those badly affected, says the community has repeatedly appealed to the authorities over the years to improve drainage infrastructure as a way to prevent the perennial disaster.
So we want them to help us, at least first of all, because the rain is still coming in the next days, and at least first of all, let them help us with this water outlet to go to drain away. Then whatever they can want to do, they said they want to do to help us, the channel, because most of our houses here have gutters, but the gutters are not draining anywhere. That is our major problem. That's our major problem. Please, we want them, we are appealing to them to come and help us.
The authorities describe it as flash flood, but residents here, it continues to disrupt lives and livelihoods. That is why they are appealing for urgent actions that will bring about an immediate relief while also improving drainage infrastructure as a permanent check to the recurring flood yearly threatening their existence.
Now, Rise business analyst Chika Mbonu joins me to discuss this further. Good morning, Mr. Chika. Not a very lovely start. I'm okay, thank you. And you?
Good stories this morning.
We do.
The flood and Nigerians and the FTSC Russell. But the flood has an immediate impact on in life of Nigerians and Lagosians, most importantly. So I just look at that. You see, Abby, a bit of a background here. In 1988, there was this popular musician, Majek Fashek, who sang a popular song, Send Down the Rain. You know, it's an album there, Prisoner of Conscience. And it became one of Nigeria's biggest songs in the late 1980s. Indeed, because of that, Majek Fashek was nicknamed the Rainmaker, and they established him as one of the leading reggae artists that time. Although the lyrics of this message was, said, ask God to send down the rain. The rain is very symbolic. Very symbolic. It represents God's blessings. Hope after difficult times, healing and restoration, and prosperity and renewal. But you see, rain is supposed to be a blessing, as I said. But for most millions of Nigerians today, rain, every dark cloud now comes with fear. And instead of praying, God send us rain, many people are now praying, God, please, when will rain pass quickly? Because of the things that come with raining in Nigeria now. Indeed, as I was coming into the studio yesterday, our receptionist in the ground floor, I saw her murmuring to herself, like, when it's raining, and I said, what's the problem? She says, when she goes to ATM now, it will say there'll be no network to withdraw money, So you can see at different levels the impact of that. One heavy rainfall in Lagos can wipe out traders' weekly profit, destroy families, heirloom, furniture, keep children away from school, flies. So the story is no longer about water, really. It's about economy, poverty, and survival. But it's scary. Let me tell you, it's no longer just a weather story. Abby, flooding become an economic story for us in Lagos here. And every flood affects businesses, families, food prices, everything I can think of. So traders can open their shop, customers cannot reach the market, and so on and so forth. The other thing I want to put out there is the points are very scary for us, very scary. Nigeria already knows that floods are likely to happen. The government has forecast that 3 states, including FCT, will face high floods this year. Over 14,000 communities are classified as high risk. So the worst is ready to come. Major cities, including Lagos, where we are, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, Kano, face increasing flood threats. And then a lot of coastal flooding in the states, the coastal states. So, and then monetary-wise, recent assessments thought about it in the last few years, 13 trillion in losses. 13 trillion in losses caused by flood. Out of this, housing alone, we saw the video played by one of our correspondents. Housing alone was about 6.2 trillion that were lost from flood. And then agriculture was about 4.1 trillion. So quickly, somebody will ask, why has flooding become worse? One of the first things one of the people don't like to hear, before it used to be like, we heard that it rained. No, raining is only part of the story. A lot of people don't want to hear something about climate change. Climate change is one of the things that happen. Rainfall is becoming heavier and heavier and heavier. Instead of raining gently for 6 hours, what you see, you heard it during the rundown, that it pours down in 1 hour, what they call flash flood. And the drainage can't cope. A rain that's supposed to run over 6 hours flashes down in 1 hour, that. So then Lagos is naturally vulnerable. Lagos is low-lying. Lagos is a coastal surrounded by lagoons and then close to Atlantic Ocean. So when heavy rains, meet a high tide from the ocean, you know what happens? Water has nowhere to go. Where does it go to? The streets, And so poor drainage, forget about what our citizens are saying. The drainage are very poor. Many drains are blocked, too narrow, never maintained. Some have become refuse dumps for the citizens instead of drainage channels. The other thing also is illegal buildings. People have built over drainage channels. Regularly, you find Lagos State government and other states talking about that. Inside drainage channels, wetlands, inside floodplains, So you find things like that happening every day, So the other thing that citizens must look at is the poor waste disposal. Go and look at the rains, the streets when where they flood. Inside the floods, see what happens. What do you see? Empty containers, empty water bottles, plastic bottles, pure water sachets, disposal food packs, old tires. Everything eventually ends inside the drainage. But what happens when rain falls? The water simply says, excuse me, guys, I have nowhere to pass. And where does it go? It goes to the streets. So the Lagos drainage become a national museum of plastic bottles. And then, floods are silent business killers. You would have heard them talking about retailers lose money, restaurants lose money, transporters cannot go anywhere, aviation, flights are delayed, agriculture, farmlands are destroyed. Everybody, the whole system is affected. So what I want to put out here quickly for us is this, Abby, is how prevention starts with all of us. And that's very important. Government has responsibilities, citizens have responsibilities. And this is very important for our viewers. Government needs to build more modern drainage channels, enforce planning laws, very important. Stop constructing on floodplains. Cities never to dump refuse in dumps, refuse in gutters, respect evacuation warnings. A lot of people, when they attempt to move, they don't want to move. Understandably, but the issue is that they have to move. Keep drainage around the homes very clear and avoid building inside waterways. And buy insurance where affordable. and listen to the NIMET forecast. NIMET is one of the government parastatals that has been so efficient because without them we can't even fly. Whether it's important to fly in. So it's important that the citizens understand that flooding is real for our country. If you take a bucket of water and pour inside a small water bottle, you will always feel it. And that's how some of the rains fall. And so it's real. And there's a human side to this thing. It destroys memories, pictures, homes of people. You saw the video there. And we can't stop the rain, but we can stop rain from turning into international disasters. Right. Abby, that's what it is. Rain is an act of God, but disaster is often the result of human neglect. That's my message for Nigerians.
Very well put. Of course, environmental degradation, indiscriminate waste disposal. But I just wanted to touch on something also, Mr. Chika. Lagos State government had declared that it spent about 106 billion naira on infrastructure and dredging projects. So let's look at that number in relation to how frequently we have this discussion, which is every year.
I mean, the first thing I want to say is Lagos is very vulnerable. I already told you that Lagos is low-lying. Lagos is very close to the Atlantic Ocean. And so when the heavy rains, come and meet the high tide of the ocean, what do you see? The water is on the street. Yeah. So unless you convert the whole road to drainage, I know a little of engineering. What's the drainage are you going to build that can take all the water and the flash flood, especially when it comes, And then the other thing is that if you look very well also, there's a proper network of drainage in some places. But citizens of Lagos have actually blocked some of them. And so you don't have the free flow of water in some of those places. So water will always find a way to escape. I mean, if your roof is leaking, no matter how much, one day you be lying on your bed, you hear tam, water will always find a way to escape. And if water cannot find the natural way to escape, it will go to the streets. And that's what happened. I don't know how much what the government spend the money on, but the issue is that the natural challenges in Lagos State and the things to be done on the drainages to open all of them. And as government opens, I know of this, citizens actually block some of them also. And it becomes a vicious cycle.
Right, so responsibility must begin in spite of what the efforts are. Let's see if we have a few more minutes to squeeze in FTSE Russell, halting Nigeria's frontier market upgrade.
Nigeria is about to receive, this is a very technical topic.
Yeah, it is.
And so I will look for ways of explaining to my viewers, a lot of them who are not finance people. I would just say Nigeria is about to receive an international vote of confidence from global investors. But the free sort of press a pause button instead of the play button. That's how I can explain it to our viewers. And for our viewers, just imagine you're about to rent a house and you're getting everything ready. And the landlord almost agreed to give you the apartment, but just before handing over the keys, so you just say something like, everything looks good, but let me observe you for another 2 months before I make my final decisions. So Russell, someone will ask, what is FTSE Russell? Think of this, as the world's investment storekeeper. Basically, millions, even trillions of dollars around the world are invested based on their rankings. If they say Nigeria is attractive, what happens is that many foreign investment funds automatically begin to look at Nigeria. If they say Nigeria they're not sure, investors keep, hold their money. So that's why it's very important to us. But a little background there is, Abby, is the thing that, do recall that, we had challenges in the past of investors bringing their dollars into Nigeria, changing to dollar, buying stocks and investing in bonds, and then at maturity, they want to take it back in dollar, and we couldn't do that for them. That was the problem that led to our downgrading. But in September 2026, we were to return back to our status, of the frontier status, because foreign investors, have not, FX has settled, people are, remember those airline days and stock market days, everything's okay now, but the major issue, is one transformational thing that happened in the Nigerian stock market, with the movement from T+2 to T+1. T+2, our viewers, is basically that if you buy shares today, you receive ownership in 2 days' time. Now, the stock exchange, trying to make it more attractive, more international, moved to T+1, which is basically what the best markets in the world do. And so T+1 means that if you buy your shares today, you receive ownership tomorrow. This is actually a modern global standard. But the FTSE also says, okay, that it's okay, we like this thing you've done. It's a big operational change, but let's make sure that international investors are okay with it. Let's make sure that it's not Nigerian who do and who cannot do. That's basically what this is all about. So is it, for Nigerians, there's no need to panic. So is there a downgrade? No. Is there a punishment? No. Is there a vote of no confidence? No. It's more like that we have finished marking your scripts, but we'll not publish the result. Let's double check it. So that's basically what this is about. Right, and we hope that by August, things will turn around and they will move us to where we are before. Yeah, I mean, it's a necessary precaution, one would say, because T+1 also will require pre-funded so
infrastructure and everything.
Exactly,
so
pretty much.
The time is short, very short, so they want to make sure that we'll be able to, the stock exchange will be able to turn around that, especially for international investors who are not resident here. Right. Who want to move their money.
So no cause for alarm is what we're saying. Ultimately, no need to panic. All right, I want to thank you so much, our Rise Business Analyst, Mr. Chika Mbonu.